Patrick, we've got your X-Quad 450 here with retractable landing gear, as well as your Fat Shark goggles. I threw my GoPro in there for you just as an example so you could see how the gimbal looks and how it works. And plus we used it on the test flight video to give you the perspective from the camera, which is pretty neat, and you'll get to see that here in a little bit. We're going to start off with your transmitter. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it as well as the other features of your package. So let's get started. Alright, we're going to do a quick overview of your transmitter. This is the Turnigy 9X, and you've noticed here that I color-coded the switches with the heat shrink wrap. So basically what we've done here is the ones that are not color-coded are not programmed to any function with the quad, so you don't have to worry about those. First thing let's take a look at here is the green one. The green one is your flight mode switch. In the 0 position, or all the way up, where it's marked N on the little diagram there. So N is GPS, and it is defaulted to GPS mode right when you start out. The middle position is attitude mode, and then the last position is manual mode. Manual mode will require constant stick input from the pilot, so it's super hard to do that unless you're experienced. Then it's not bad at all. So I would recommend for the beginner pilot or intermediate pilot, hang out in GPS mode or attitude mode for a little bit, get the feel for your quad. Over here we've got your failsafe. This switch is designed to be, it's set up to where when you flick that, regardless of which flight mode you're in, the quad will return to home, land where it started, and shut off the motors for you. So that failsafe is designed one flick of a switch and it will come back for you. This knob right here, this is your gimbal knob. This one right here, rotating that up and down will tilt your actual camera up and down, so you've got that motion right there on that little knob. The blue one right up here, this is your gains. Now I've set your gains where they're perfect. You will not need to adjust that knob, but if in case you get kind of knocked out of position, you'll notice that it's that little arrow is pointing to the 0 position, so it's set right in the middle. Your gains are set perfectly, but if it's acting like it's oscillating a little bit or even a little jittery, you wouldn't adjust that knob to make it fly the way you want it to. And then last but not least, let's talk about the black switch here. This is your RetraX. So while you're in flight, flicking that forward here will make your RetraX go up, and then back will make them come back down. So that's been a quick overview of your transmitter and the functions and switches, how they're programmed, and what features they do with the quad. So let's move on now to the actual quad itself. 5,000 milliamp battery here on top of the quad, and when you get this, the battery will not be on the quad, so you'll just need to put it through the strap on top. And this is actually, I just put this little strap on there where you're going to have a little bit longer strap on there. Your blades will not be on, but the way to put those on, starting with the front left, this is going to be in a clockwise motion. You notice how the blade is here. And then directly diagonal to that is also going to be in a clockwise motion. Your counterclockwise motion is right here. This will be your front right. So the blade that is set up for counterclockwise motion. And then of course the diagonal counterpart there, this is also going to be set up in a counterclockwise motion. GPS compass is all set up the way that it needs to be. You always want this little arrow that's on the GPS compass facing to the front of the craft. And then you've got this little hookup here. This is for your video transmitter set up on the bottom of the quad. And what I'll do is I'll just lift this up and show you. Got your Fat Shark transmitter right there. Okay, and you want to make sure you don't power that up unless that antenna is attached. Okay, but that power source that it uses is right here for this little balance lead adapter. So then right here we've got the small battery that I've included to use with your transmitter, video transmitter. This little white plug will just plug directly into here, and that will power your video transmitter. And when you do that, that will actually power your GoPro. You just want to keep your GoPro on, and this little cable right here is going to plug into the side of the GoPro. That will plug into the side of the GoPro there, and then you'll notice that you got your mini IOSD right here. Now that's the cable for that is automatically going into the Fat Shark one right here for your camera. So it's intercepting the information, and then that's displayed on your goggles. or your video monitor, depending on how you have it set up. And then of course you have these two little servo cables going into your gimbal. That's how you can control the gimbal tilt on the knob on the transmitter. And so so again, this will be plugging this little battery into there, and that's all you need to do to power your video transmitter. Turn on your camera, and then when your goggles, all you'll need to do is plug this battery into the side here, and then the image that you get from your GoPro will come up in here, as well as flight on-screen statistics or on-screen display will also show up in your visual range here on your headset. So that's kind of an overview of how that's going to work. Let's take a look at the back. Okay, real quick. I put in two auxiliary ports for you. So we left the LEDs off of here to conserve battery time, but we put the upgraded GPS compass protector mount on there for you, which is cool. But this auxiliary jack being open will allow you to, later you could put a strobe or LEDs, and you can power it straight from here if it isn't straight off the receiver. This is where your gimbal plugs in. If you don't want to fly with your gimbal, unplug that, but otherwise that's left in for you, and that's going to come on when you plug in your quad. So your gimbal will come to life when you plug in your quad. So that's all you need to do for that. Real quick, we'll talk about your goggles and your monitor setup here. So your goggles come with a cable that will allow you to go from the video out to the video in here for your monitor. And so what you see on here, you'll be able to see on here. And you'll actually be able to view them both at the same time. It's got a little remote for the monitor. Inside here we got a 3-saw LiPo. You just plug that in, and once you plug that in, the screen will come on. Plug the Fat Shark goggles into the video in. What you see on here will come up on here. Very simple. And that's all you need to do. Like I say, after you plug in the little battery up there on the power source from the quad, plug this in right here and make sure your camera's on. You've got the image. Then you image that out to here, and you've got the image on there. Pretty simple. That was a quick overview of your quad, Patrick. Now we're going to head out to the field and take a test flight.
Pretty strong wind.